It's been one whole month since the Pacific campaign in Enlisted was released, and there's been many videos from myself but also from other content creators covering topics like whether it's two factions or even balanced, whether the Pacific is historically accurate, and what all the features even are. But nobody so far has covered whether you will actually enjoy playing the campaign, and if you already have, should you continue to play it? Hi there, I'm MajorMcDonalds, and yes, this is my handsome face. And if you're new around here, I cover everything to do with Enlisted, whether that's tips and tricks, advice, reviews, tests, and so much more. So if you play the game of Enlisted, then why aren't you subscribed? No, seriously. Now, I covered all of the new features of the actual campaign in this video you can find in the corner of the video now, so I won't actually just waste your time reviewing them and recapping them. But what I did do there was make predictions of what this campaign would look like before it was released, many of which I will address in this video, and whether the developers even, did well or did badly in those areas.
Things can happen. Remember, we mustn't forget that it's been raining, so the pitch is quite...
It's been raining?
Yeah.
Are you being serious? It's raining for both teams.
Yeah.
The first thing that needs to be addressed is how awesome this campaign really is and how different it is from all the other campaigns. It's exactly as I hoped it would be. It's perfect. Okay, almost perfect. But we'll get to that. Loyal followers of the channel will know how much I keep banging on about the importance of uniqueness of the campaign. And this is made all the better with the new Japanese faction with their names, voice lines, uniforms, faces, and more. And have you seen my guy here? Shoot on sight? I love this guy already. What an absolute Chad. The stunning new maps actually immerse you and make you feel as though you were truly there. Personally, I'm a huge fan of them. Aesthetically. Anyway. Therefore, one of the big things we should address immediately from the bat is whether you should even spend money on the campaign. I must admit, the special landing forces pack, which you can buy in the Enlisted store, is actually very worthwhile to get. I mean, the infantry squads you get are very worthwhile and really help you whether you are beginning your Pacific campaign journey all the way until the late game. They remain useful throughout the entire campaign, which most standard premium squads struggle to do. The amphibious tanks, however, are not very useful, if we're being honest.
It's an inanimate f***ing object.
You're an inanimate f***ing object!
But the nickname decorators, camos, and decals you get for them with the pre-order version of this pack were actually quite cool. All weapons and soldiers starting out at rank 4 out of 5 is also very useful. And if you don't understand how words like rank, level, and experience differ between troops, then you really need to check out my complete Enlisted guide, which you can find in this corner of the video. Overall, it's just so hard to complain, especially as you get this whole package for just $30 US, which is substantially cheaper than most of the things Gaijin and Dark Blue offer for the game. This package, whether intentionally or not, actually makes this campaign worthwhile to play for both free and paid players. And we will be giving away one special landing forces pack on our massive Enlisted Discord server, where you can find loads of teammates to play with in voice chat, participate in casual or competitive events, create maps, mods, and so much more. And at 1,000 members, we will be giving away one of these packs plus 2 premium squads. So join it now to not miss out. But what about the weapons and equipment of this campaign? Is it actually worth it to spend your time grinding them? As I stated in this video, the gear you actually unlock in the campaign not being historically accurate really just doesn't matter. And if you want a complete review on all of the weapons and levels in that campaign, then you really do need to click on this video. The brilliant thing about this campaign is that bolt action rifles are so prevalent, yet important and still very useful. Bolt actions are really powerful here in both short and long range combat, provided you can actually aim.
F***ing hell, man. I'm finished. Rubbish.
But that's important in any FPS game, and in my opinion, bolt actions are just so fun to use in this campaign. This also makes the Pacific campaign, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, for new Enlisted players, far above the Normandy campaign. And if you want to know which of the other 5 campaigns in Enlisted you should play, then you really should check out this video. I promise I'm not going to spend the whole video just plugging my own videos within it, they just link, it's helpful, Don't blame me, blame the usefulness of YouTube.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
But then on top of this, the automatic weapons you unlock aren't super overpowered and do not render your bolt actions useless, as in the case of a few of the other Enlisted campaigns. Don't get me wrong, the M50 Rising, the S1100 and all the other SMGs aren't bad, but they don't completely destroy standard rifles. The only possible issues one might point to are the very last levels of that campaign, where the American weapons are noticeably better than the Japanese rifles for many. These include the BAR-A2, the Bazooka, the Thompson and the Johnson MG, which, as I correctly predicted in that video, is basically the Allies' answer to the FG-42, the weapon that I ranked amongst the best rifles in the game in my top 20 rifles video. Now once again, don't get me wrong, these are very good weapons, but people shouldn't just be ruling out the Japanese stuff as completely and severely imbalanced. Overall, the campaign weaponry is as balanced as the devs could feasibly make it in my view, even though that is against what the majority of you seem to think in a recent poll I did. However, I believe this is due to the conflation of two things. One of these is campaign balance, and the other is player balance. Many of you seem to think the entire Enlisted campaign is just so unbalanced, which is just factually incorrect. I'm sorry to say. Actually, I'm not sorry to say.
I'm very sorry and I apologize for the inconvenience of me not keeping up.
Because in the current state of the game, the Japanese faction seem to lose many games, but this is almost never because of the weaponry. The reason you do lose more games is because in the current meta and the current playstyle of many players, most of the so-called good players are playing as the Americans in the Pacific. That, by the law of statistics, means that fewer good players are playing as the Japanese and maining those, and therefore, equally by the law of statistics, that would mean that the Japanese just lose more games. And those of you who joined during the Pacific's initial release must remember that the Japanese were the ones that everyone was playing for, like, say, the first week or so. But now it's reversed. The Americans are the favoured faction. It's the exact same scenario as has persisted in the Normandy campaign. This is because it tends to be the case that newer, less experienced players are playing as the Allies because of, every film everybody has ever watched, but the most experienced players who tend to have already completed the Normandy Allies campaign have moved over to Normandy Axis to grind that one out, and therefore there is a player imbalance. Darkflow has done its best trying to balance the weaponry for both Japan and the Americans, but what it can't do is force a certain caliber of player to queue up for a specific faction, or at least it hasn't tried yet. Never question the abilities of the snail. But this is what you guys are seeing. There isn't really an imbalance in the campaign itself. It's more just to do with the caliber of players who are playing each side of the campaign and what it is perceived as on the rest of the player base. Now yes, one could irony the tiny technicalities of each level against each other level and the Pacific versus Americans and Japan, but let's face it, they aren't that different for the most part. But this is hardly noticeable, really, if you actually play a game in the campaign. If anything, Darkflow have actually overbalanced the Japanese in relation to the Americans by the use of prototype rifles like the Type A, the gold weapon order version of which I review in this video. So overall, you should play this campaign and not worry really about any of the imbalances in the campaign, because let's face it, nobody is going to win 100% of their games. It's just not going to happen. But if you want to see me win games with just bolt actions on the Pacific, then you really need to join the community on Twitch. We'd love to have you join us. But now we delve into the less good. The vehicles. Now, I am a primarily infantry-based player. I don't really use vehicles if I can avoid it, and you really do need to be on the ground around the objective points if you want to win games and level up quicker. All tips which you can find in more detail in this video. Now, I don't have any problems with aircraft in this game. They aren't cancerous like in Normandy where you get blown up every 2 seconds, and most of them aren't even that good anyway. Like the Aichi and the SOC hydroplanes, despite them being, cool to look at. Therefore, if you don't want to randomly die constantly once again, then this campaign is for you. And if you are an aviation fanatic, then you'll love the aircraft carriers that you spawn on before heading into battle and to come back to rearm your aircraft and refuel. Now yes, they look pretty awesome, but they're basically irrelevant to refuel at, as they're so far away and impossibly difficult to land then to get back up again, and it takes way too long anyway. And most players just kamikaze with their planes anyway because it's quicker to respawn. In my opinion, they are completely useless. And and it's exactly how I predicted. But you know, at least it looks nice, and it's aesthetically pleasing, which is still another reason to play this campaign. But my biggest problem was with the half tracks and the tanky things. In particular, the Tassay and the M13. If you've played any match in the Pacific, you probably know what I'm talking about. Why on earth the devs thought giving level 1 tanks a 50 cal machine gun was a good idea kind of blows my mind.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
These things are such a problem to new players. They can literally sit in the grey zone shooting you, which is still a problem the developers haven't addressed in the game at all. Shooting anything and everything with a perfect view over the battlefield, and the enemy team can't even touch them, especially because the only aircraft you could use to destroy the thing comes at level 4. The team really didn't consider this, and it was made even worse by the glitch that they were required to fix not just once, but twice. That the guy sitting outside at the top of the tank, manning the guns, couldn't be shot despite being in the open air. In my opinion, these two vehicles were actually the worst part of the entire Pacific campaign. It made gameplay horrific, which I imagine put off a lot of new players as there was literally nothing they could do to combat it. Nothing at all. And everyone had them. You could kill one somehow, and then another one would just spawn. God, they were so painful. I don't even know. And you'd better give this video a like if you were ever killed by one of these in the grey zone.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. I'm saying.
That all being said, the devs did do their best to fix a few of the things around it, and now they aren't, you know, invincible, but still problematic for new players. Unless, of course, you have a katana. Thanks, Quadro. But are the other brand new features included with the Pacific update any good? Are they even useful? Well, some of them. The lunge mine, albeit fun, is one of the weakest things they've added to the entire game. Now don't get me wrong, they're fun to use, which in itself means you should enjoy using them by playing the campaign, but they're not exactly good. On the other hand, the new charging mechanic is ridiculously good, and it's not just in the Pacific. You can charge with a bayonet, axe, sword, or even a lunge mine on any campaign, which makes you so much faster than ordinary running. Combine this with sprint speed perks and anything else that makes you run quicker, and you'll literally be faster than the Williams F1 team were this year. Jesus, that was just hard shade. It's so useful for a wide variety of reasons, and actually makes charging with a bayonet or katana so cool. The other new feature are white phosphorus grenades, and let me tell you, these are actually so OP, especially in the Pacific where basically no tank has any armor anyway, so explosive packs just aren't as vital as they are in other campaigns, making the white phosphorus grenades relatively more important to have. They are also amazing at area denial, arguably better than flamethrowers. They are going to be so important going forward, so definitely take the time to use them in the Pacific. But arguably, the best thing in the entire Pacific update was the ability to more easily remove all of these green flashing notification messages that literally drove me insane. So thank the Lord. Yet what we can't do is ignore all of the bugs and issues that came out with the release of this campaign and address whether they've been fixed or not. Some of these I mentioned earlier in this video, but there were others, intentional or not. Some of the map layouts, while fantastic aesthetically, weren't exactly great for gameplay. And you can see me in an unbelievably close Pacific battle against famous YouTuber Plastic Scott, where we play on these maps. Now this is something the devs can do only little about, bar say adjust some grey zone areas. Yet the fact that engineers still aren't given at level 1 ahead of snipers is basically a crime by Darkflow. Come on. And there were many glitches. To name just a few, the floor of the many wooden structures in the Pacific campaign meant that if you ordered your AI to go to that building, then they'd actually just get themselves stuck underneath it. Hey, step Japanese, I'm stuck. That's the worst joke I've ever made. And there were some errors with the engineer hammer doing its animation about 1.5 seconds too early before the building was actually being constructed. But I do need to mention that there have been many different separate updates to try and address these issues and many more. This is fantastic to see, but not all of them are perfect. Yet.
Before, during, Moral of the story:
don't fix bugs.
If you want a new Enlisted experience, something significantly different from all the other existing campaigns, and something that is as far from pay to win as you could possibly get, then you really do need to give the Pacific campaign a go. In the meantime though, you can check out my review on the most controversial Enlisted campaign, the Stalingrad campaign, right here. But nevertheless, it's been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.